Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would do a mini reviews video. I started doing these, well, I've only done one other one, but I did my first one couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and what I'm doing is basically going back in time and talking about either things that I've hauled or things that I've done first impressions on and give you like my final thoughts on those products. In my first mini reviews video, I decided to start with January, and I know that's a really long time out, but I thought let me just start at the beginning of the year and just kind of start to quickly move closer to present day. So I'm doing February now, and during this month of August where I'm doing my no buy, I am really hoping to catch up with a lot of videos that I've been wanting to film for you guys. So I'm hoping to kind of make it to like 2 or 3 months ago. I think that's a sufficient enough time to really kind of develop an opinion on something. So let's get into these mini reviews of things that I've hauled or did first impressions of in the month of February. I printed out some description box stuff from a couple of my videos, and then we'll talk about some things that I mentioned in February and just kind of go over those quickly. So on February 4th, I did a first impressions, and I think I've talked about most of these products since then, but I used the Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer, and I think I even mentioned in that video, I was like, I'm probably the last person on earth to try this primer. It's nice, but it's not a primer that I generally like to use, the type of primer that I generally like to use. It's very kind of slippy, and I generally just like moisturizing, radiant kind of primers. So while I thought it was really nice, it's just not for me, and I don't think I've used it since then. Maybe once. Hourglass Illusion Hyaluronic Skin Tint. I think I just used this in a video where I was kind of using things that I don't use very often, things that I love that I don't use very often, and I do love this skin tint. It feels really, really nice. It has that kind of light to medium coverage that I like. It has hyaluronic acid in there, so it's great for retaining moisture if you have dry skin. So I really enjoy that. The Achanta Kai Le Camouflage Stilo Pen. This I really, really love also. I think I mentioned this in my top 5 concealers video, in one of my top 5 Tuesdays videos, and I have it on my face today around my eyes, and I think I also even put it kind of around my nose because that was a little bit red also, and I just think it's great. It is very, very moisturizing. I think if you kind of have like oily skin issues, it probably wouldn't be for you, but it's very, very creamy, and I have it in the shade, I believe, number 2, because I can't find it on my pen anywhere, but I believe I have shade number 2. It's very peachy, so it does a little bit of like correcting and brightening. I have like that sallowness around my eyes, so it is quite lovely. I didn't even show you the Hourglass skin tint, but this is what the bottle looks like. So this is the one that I was just talking about. But moving back to the Achanta Kai Le Camouflage Stilo. So this is the one that comes in this pen form, and it's like a brush pen. And it's very, very lovely. I've had very, very good luck with this. I think when I mentioned this in my top 5, someone mentioned, and I don't travel with this much. Maybe I've taken it on one trip, and I also don't put it in my purse or anything. But someone in my comment section mentioned that this camouflage imprint or printing on this pen starts to flake off. And she says it becomes like a really horrible mess. So that has not happened to me yet. It is still very much intact, but like I said, I don't really travel with this. So, and I think she mentioned that she kind of puts it in her bag. So that's kind of a shame. I would say that is definitely one down point to this. You don't want flaky, flaky silver stuff, especially when you're dealing with a cream product right here, because it may get in there. Anyway, that hasn't been my experience, but that's what I've heard. I also used the Visiart Seamless Setting Powder. I really, really enjoy this powder for under my eyes. This is not a powder that I would use all over my face because it is very, very mattifying. And again, I like kind of more of a radiant glow finish to my skin. But under the eyes, and I have it under my eyes today, and I actually did put it just around my nostrils here because they looked like a little extra special shiny this morning, and it just does such a great job. It blurs fine lines, and for it to be matte and one of these like really fine white powders, I was really worried that it was going to be a powder that kind of, I don't know, just kind of put like a ghostly ashy cast under my eyes. I was really worried that it was going to look very, very ashy on my skin, and it didn't. I love this powder, and I think I've talked about this powder since this video a lot, and I really, really do like this. Obviously, I didn't include this in my loose powder week because I had been using it and I was kind of testing powders that I had not used before, but this is a really lovely powder. For me, The By Terry Hyaluronic Powder did not work out for me. That made my under eyes look very, very dry. This powder makes my eyes look matte, but they don't look dry. So all it does is sort of affect the finish of my skin. It doesn't actually affect like the texture or the look of my skin. So this just sort of affects the finish of my skin, but it doesn't affect like, I don't know, the texture of my skin. It doesn't make my skin look crepey. It really, really blurs fine lines. It's just amazing. I really do like this setting powder. Next on my list, I have the Sisley like 3-in-1 brow pencil that they have. This is the one that has the brow pencil, the spoolie at one end, and then in the middle, there is that highlighting powder. I really like this pencil. I haven't been using it a lot lately because the color I got is the darkest one that they have. I'm using it today, and it is a very, very, it's called like, it's brun, but it's, which is like brown, but it is a very, I mean, it almost goes on black. It also is an incredibly soft crayon. So it goes on like with just a light touch, you get a lot of pigment. Thankfully, because it is soft, once you get the spoolie going over it, it blends out really nicely. So, you know, even when I've kind of gone in a little heavy-handed and I've been like, oh no, it really does brush out really nicely with the spoolie and it blends really nicely. But I kind of associate this eyebrow pencil with like fall winter because it is such a dark color. It does give my brows like a little bit more impact. It makes them a little bit, you know, thicker looking. So I haven't been using it lately, but I do really, really like this pencil. And I also like this highlighting powder in the center there because it really does a nice job and it happens to actually match my skin tone. So if you have a darker skin tone than mine or lighter, I don't think this would work necessarily for you. But I had troubles with the Charlotte Tilbury eyebrow pencil. That's the same idea. I like the pencil, the spoolie was fine, but the highlighting powder in the middle was a little bit too peachy and deep for the brow bone kind of like eyebrow area. It just didn't really work out for me, but the color in this one is a really nice match. Next on my list is the By Terry Sun Designer palette in Savannah Love. This is like the iteration of the Sun Designer palettes that came out before the two most recent ones. So this is what Savannah Love looks like. It is very, very beautiful, but I have to admit, I really haven't reached for this one very often. I don't know why, probably because I have a lot of face palettes, but it is lovely. It is one that I really, really enjoyed. I love this, this shade up here. It's just a really pretty like highlight color, a mixture of all of these powders. You end up with like a really nice blush color. It's a lovely palette, and I love the texture of these By Terry powders. They're really soft. They're a bit powdery. There's a bit of a kick-up situation in the pan, but they go on so nicely. They blend out so beautifully. There's just like enough of a sheen in these powders to kind of give your skin that glow from within kind of like finish. They're just really, really lovely. I don't really know why I haven't been reaching for this one, but it is lovely. I do like it a lot. And then I also talked about this product as well. I think, so some of these products that I'm mentioning that I talk about in this video, this is the first impressions, I actually hauled in January. So I think I talked about this product in my mini reviews of my January hauls, but this is the Burberry Earthy Blush. In the pan, I was really hoping for kind of like a nude blush, almost like a light contour color, one that would really kind of blend really nicely into the contour bronzer area. But this ends up being very, very peach on my skin. Once I get it on my cheek, it looks a lot peachier than it looks in the pan or than it looks swatched. So I really haven't been using this. Not to say that it's not a lovely blush. If you want something that's a little peachier, it's great, but I really wanted something nude, and so I just never reached for this, unfortunately. And then I also talked about the Dior Hollow Gold highlighter. This was limited edition, so I don't even think you can get this anymore, but I was not the biggest fan of these highlighters. They were just a little too sparkly for me. I mean, the color is a lot of fun. You know, this is, I feel like, as hollow as I would go, holographic as I would go, because it goes like from a gold to a pink, so it's really pretty. But there's just these like sparkly bits in there that just, I don't know, that don't make it quite as smooth looking as I would like. I don't know, I just feel like it doesn't, it's not chunky, but there's like micro glitters in there, and I'm just, I don't know, I'm not a fan of that necessarily. Oh, and then the Visiart Seamless Eye Primer. So I purchased that when I got the setting powder, and it's a great eye primer. And in fact, I was just looking for it and I can't find it. I haven't used it in a while, but when I first got it, I was using it all the time. But it's one of those primers. It's very, very thin, and it actually goes on. I think it goes on better with like a synthetic brush, like a concealer brush, versus your finger, because it is so thin that the brush really lays it down very evenly. But it's an interesting texture. It's a lot thinner than you think it is, a lot runnier than you think it is. And it just leaves this really nice, smooth kind of canvas on your eyelid. And I found that it really did help with shadows to kind of lay down nicely, smoothly, blend easily. And I feel like it did help with the longevity of eyeshadow without being too sticky. I find a lot of eyeshadow primers that are too sticky that are meant to help with longevity. They just make eyeshadows harder to blend. But this particular primer was a really kind of nice middle ground between smoothing out your primer and kind of having a little bit of something there to help with the longevity. So I really like that eyeshadow primer. I haven't used it in a while, just mainly because I'm lazy and it's a step that I just feel like I can skip, and I can't find it, but I will have to search around for that and maybe put that back into my routine. All right, the next item on my list is the Gucci Shadow Mono in Iconic Bronze. I can't find it, but I think I may have sent it off to another YouTuber. A YouTuber and I won't divulge too much information. I want it to be a surprise, but we did kind of like a swap of makeup, of our own makeup, and like we're, kind of trying out each other's makeup. Anyway, I think I sent it to her. I'm not exactly sure. But I really like the formula of it, but the Iconic Bronze, and again, I think I mentioned this in January, it's very orangey. It's I wish it had a little bit more of like a brown kind of base to it, but it's just very, very orangey. So again, I like it, but I just don't use it that often because it's sort of a look that, I don't know, it's a little bit bright for me. So that's the Gucci Shadow Mono. Next on my list is the Achanta Kai Faux Cils Mascara. This is the one that's supposed to help your lashes grow. I think it really helped my lashes grow when I was using it. And I would have kept using it, but I don't know, I just kind of got angry with mascaras in general, and then I thought, well, I should probably play around with other mascaras. So this just kind of fell to the bottom of my drawer, but this I really do think helped my lashes grow. When I stopped using this, I definitely felt like my lashes got a little bit wimpier. I don't want to say that this is like a complete and total miracle worker, like for someone like me, like I'm going to end up with like huge, like fake looking lashes. It just made my wimpy lashes just look a little bit less wimpy. Like they were just longer. They were definitely longer. I don't know if they were necessarily fuller, but they were definitely longer. So they were just definitely growing a lot more nicely. So I do like this mascara, and I think I'll probably whip this back out because I want to use it before it goes bad. And then the last few things on this list were things that were sent to me from M Cosmetics. They sent me their Infinite Lip Clouds, which are their kind of like their liquid matte lipsticks, but they're not 100% transfer proof. So they're a little bit more comfortable, and they sent me a few, but I think I included some in my 10K giveaway. But I did keep one color. This is French Nude, and it's lovely. It's lovely. It's very, very comfortable. I don't use it as much as I would like, again, because I just have so many lip products. But here is French Nude, and you can see it dries down to like pretty much a matte finish. There's like a little bit something there, but again, it's not completely transfer proof. So for me, that's a lot more comfortable, and I definitely prefer that. And then they sent me some of their eyeliners. So their pencil eyeliner, I've only used a couple times, and it was very, very nice. I do remember it smudged just a little bit by the end of the day. So again, I have a ton of eyeliner. So I just haven't been reaching for this for no other reason other than, again, I have a ton of products. And then this is their liquid eyeliner. Which one? They sent me two, one with a brush tip and one with a felt tip. And I felt like I had so many brush tip liquid liners, so I put the brush tip liquid liner into my giveaway, and I kept the felt tip. And this is a great liquid eyeliner. The black is so black. The tip is really great. and it dries down to kind of like a nice matte black. It's really lovely. I don't find that it feathers at all. This is a great one. In fact, I need to use this more as well. So that's the end of my February 4th first impressions video. So then on February 20th, I posted a haul video. And so let's just run through these products quickly. Again, I think I've talked about a lot of these since then quite a bit, especially these first two. So the Clé de Peau Radiant Lip Gloss, I got it in 01 and 03. And I love 01. This is the one that I also thought like, oh, why am I getting this? It's kind of sheer, but it's so beautiful. This is beautiful as well, but I use the 01 all the time. Applicator is this really fun kind of spirally flower petal shaped. It's really beautiful. And this just gives your lips just the most perfect sheen. It's perfect for that no makeup day. So I love these lip glosses. They just feel so incredible on the lips. They're not sticky. They're very nourishing without feeling too oily. Love them. The Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I did a first impressions of this, and I wasn't really sure how I wanted to use it, and now I actually have it on today. Now what I do, and I probably have talked about this since then, I'll just put it where I want to highlight before I put down foundation. So today I put this on the tops of my cheekbones, down the bridge of my nose, and a little bit over here, and a little bit on my chin. And then it just kind of melds with your foundation, and it just gives those areas, those high points, like this really nice glow. And then it's also great over foundation if you really want to kind of amp up what you've already put down, or if you want to put this down under some powder highlight, if you really, really want to like glow. This is great. It's just such an interesting product. And my good friend Risa Does Makeup, who has an incredibly different skin type than me, she's very oily. She kind of stayed away from this because she was like, I do not need any more sort of like shininess to my skin. But she decided to give this a shot, and she loves it. So this works for an array of different skin types. The Jo Malone English Mint and Ginger Lip Care. So it comes in this little tub, and I've used it a little bit. But what I have noticed is anything with mint in there does eventually dry out my lips if I use it too many days in a row. So this is something I'll throw on every once in a while, but this isn't one that I like keep in my purse or anything and just kind of like reapply incessantly. I don't, because of the mint in there, but it does smell really, really nice. I do love the smell of mint, and the mixture with the ginger, it is really nice. And if your lips don't really have that same reaction to mint, then I do recommend this. It's nice. And then apparently I was on some lip balm kick. I purchased the Sisley Nutritive Lip Balm, and I remember I was at the counter purchasing something else, which I think I will talk about. Yes, which I'll talk about next. But I was purchasing something else, and I was just standing there, and I think the woman was trying to get something for me. My lips were just so dry that day. They were burning. And I was like, do you have any lip balm? She said, oh yeah, there's a tester right there. Give it a shot. So it was this. I put it on. And by the time she like kind of came back to me, my lips felt so good. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. They just felt like baby soft, and they didn't have to like peel to get to that point. Like sometimes I feel like lip balms, like they'll just make your lips just like slough off all of this like excess dead skin. And then eventually you kind of get to like a very soft lip. This didn't do that. This just kind of moisturized whatever was there. And I just felt amazing. It felt incredible. So I purchased this pretty much on the spot. I love it. It's really, really nourishing. And then I purchased the two hair care products from their line, the Sisley Precious Hair Care Oil and the Sisley Revitalizing Fortifying Serum for Scalp. I have talked about that serum for scalp several times. I love it. I'm getting close to the bottom of my bottle now. I'm going to be repurchasing that very soon, as soon as probably before I run out, because I don't ever want to go without it. Love that stuff. The hair care oil, I'm embarrassed to say I haven't even tried yet, because I'm trying to finish up my Orbay hair oil, which I really enjoy. It's a little bit thicker than the Sisley hair oil. So anyway, you can't use that much hair oil. So I've been going through the Orbay kind of slowly, and I'm just hoping to get through that before I bust open my Sisley hair care oil, but I may just have to open it up before the Orbay is done. And then I purchased 3 of, at that time it was brand new, the Phyto-Khol Star Eyeliners. So I purchased Sparkling Black, Sparkling Bronze, and Mystic Blue. The 2 sparkling colors, or if there's the word sparkling before any of the colors, because I think there's a few other ones, what there is glitter in the eyeliner. So when you draw it on your hand, you kind of don't really see the glitter. And then if you kind of start to rub it out, the glitter kind of appears. So I thought that was super, super cool. I was so excited for these. The only issue I have with these, which is I guess kind of a big issue because I can't really wear them, is that the glitter is kind of chunky. And so the glitter I feel like starts to get in my eyes. It really starts to kind of irritate my eyes. So these are kind of a pass for me. I did not like that. But the Mystic Blue is not a sparkling one. This one is just sort of a metallic eyeliner. And there's the blue color. So it just has a really lovely sheen. This blue happens to be really interesting too. It almost borders on like ultraviolet. Like that's how blue it is. And that's what I have in my waterline today. This one I really, really like. They're also waterproof. So they do stay on. There's like quite a bit of longevity with these eyeliners. And then I also purchased a bunch of the Achanta Kai Philanthropy cheek colors. And these were the ones that were special edition. They had the imprint of whatever charity the proceeds were going to. So this one, Joy, with the horse on it, my imprint is starting to fade, but that's the one I have on my cheeks today. This is the one that I happen to have been using the most. It's just a really beautiful, not too bright, but very pink, very pretty color. I also have Grace, which is the one with the turtle on it. And this is much more of a neutral color. And then I have the one with the bee on it. I can't find it at the moment. You guys should see this room that I'm sitting in. It literally looks like a bomb went off. But the bee one, I feel like is like a pinky peachy. I feel like it fell between these two shades. The texture of any kind of Achanta Kai powder products are so beautiful. They're so, so silky soft. They blend out beautifully. The colors are a little bit sheer when they go on, but they build up very quickly. They're just beautiful. There's nothing wrong with them. I absolutely love them. And then I also picked up the Achanta Kai Brilliant Lip Gloss in Pixie. That's this fun, bright pink iridescent color. It's actually what I have on my lips over a lip liner, which we'll talk about in a second. And I purchased this because I had originally purchased Modern, which I really loved. I love these lip glosses. They're great. They're not sticky. Maybe they just have like the tiniest bit of tack, like the tiniest bit, but they're just really beautiful. And I love the kind of pearly sheen to them. They're just really, really gorgeous. They wear really well on their own, over like lip liner, by themselves, over lipstick. They're just gorgeous. I love the formula. So these I've been loving. And then I have the Guerlain La Petite Robe Noir Deliciously Shiny Lip Color. It is these guys. And this is actually the product that introduced me to Guerlain. I love these. They smell a little bit like candy. I have 5 of these. I just pulled out one. They're awesome. If you're a sheer lip color fan like I am, they're just amazing. They're so much fun. This is the shade 005. I forget what this one is called, but it is, it looks like it's white in the tube, but it actually gives your lips this iridescent sheen. I don't know if you can see it there. I hope the camera's picking it up. But the iridescence is kind of like one of those bluish purple ones. It's a lot of fun. And this looks great, again, by itself, over a lip color with like a lip liner. It's really beautiful. And again, I have like 4 other colors. It's just great. The one thing, I happen to like the scent of these, but I think someone had commented when I mentioned these that they just couldn't stand the fragrance because it's a very sweet, candy floral scent. It doesn't bother me, but again, it may bother you. So it is heavily fragranced. The YSL Tatouage Couture Matte Stain. I think I mentioned this in my January mini reviews. I really like it. The Francis Kurkdjian Aqua Universalis perfume. I just mentioned this in my Ride or Die. So that I really love. And then I have the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheats in Bond Girl and Love Trap. So Charlotte Tilbury at this point had come out with like a whole bunch of new colors in her lip cheats, which are her lip pencils. And I purchased Bond Girl and Love Trap. So I have Love Trap on. That's what I have underneath this Pixie lip gloss. I love this combination, even though it seems like it would be unexpected. It works really well. But here is Love Trap. Oh, sorry, that is a terrible swatch. There we go. There is Love Trap. And then here is Bond Girl. So Bond Girl's a little bit deeper, a little bit pinker, and Love Trap is sort of like a deep nude, a little bit warmer than. I love the Charlotte Tilbury lip cheats. It's a great formula. I probably don't use these as much as like my Iconic Nude or even my Pillow Talk, and if I had to choose between these two, I would choose the Love Trap, just because it's a little bit more nude and a little bit more universal. The Bond Girl is beautiful, but I definitely reach for the Love Trap a little bit more than the Bond Girl. Pat McGrath Matte Trance Super Muse set. It's not available anymore, so I'm not going to talk about it too much, but those were the 3 matte trance lipsticks that came in the red case. I haven't even used them because they're kind of like a collector thing for me. Next on my list is the Hourglass Vanish Flash Highlighting Stick in Rose Gold Flash. And I think I picked up Rose Gold Flash after I picked up Champagne Flash because I loved the Champagne Flash so much. So I actually have both on my cheeks today, right here, kind of like a mixture of them. I love these sticks. These sticks are so amazing. You can put them on before powder, after powder. You can swipe directly. You can use your finger, like warm it up and tap it on. Like they're so versatile and they're just so beautiful. So this is Champagne Flash. Isn't that stunning? And then here is Rose Gold Flash. So it's pretty much, they're kind of like twinsies, but one is warm and one is cool. And then I talk about 2 brushes, the Sonia G Worker 1 brush. I think that was like the 3rd one I picked up. So I love that brush. I think I've talked about that enough. The Wayne Goss number 7 brush. So this is the Wayne Goss number 7 brush. And I believe it's a lip brush, but I got it to kind of smudge out like along my lower lash line, to use it in that way, because I had one that was just, it was just a little bit too rough, and I knew that this, being a Wayne Goss brush, was going to be a lot softer, which it is. But it's a very flat brush, so it's not terribly effective for that use. I mean, it wasn't created for that use, so that was my bad. So I have other brushes that I use for that purpose. And then last on my list is the Christian Louboutin Silky Satin Lip Color in Me Nude, color number 710. This is the guy that I think I just used in my video of products that I love that I haven't used. And this is it's a lovely, lovely lipstick. It's pigmented. It is a beautiful color. It is a little bit more, it's definitely a cream, and it's very thick on the lips, but it's a little bit more drying than I prefer for a cream lipstick. It actually almost feels like a matte. It looks like a cream, but feels like a matte. I think it's just because of the amount of pigment that's in there, because it is a very, very kind of like dense, thick kind of lipstick. And I did a couple like first impressions that month in February. One was the Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezy highlighter. I love that highlighter, but it was limited edition, and I think it can't be found anymore. I'll stop there. And I also did a first impressions of the Visiart Tryst palette. I feel like when I'm going for like a pretty look, this is one of the palettes that comes to mind. This one, the Soft Glam palette. There are a lot of palettes that I feel like, oh, I want like a warm look, or okay, I want like an everyday look. But if I want like a pretty look, this has like a lot of pinks and purples in there. And it's what I have on my eyes today. And I only use 3 colors from this palette. So I use this kind of all over the lid. I use this dark color on my outer corner, and then I use this on the inside portion of my lid. And it's great. You know, the Visiart shimmers maybe aren't like the best, but they're fine. And I think that they're quite lovely in person. I feel like our like perception is really warped by like Instagram, and it's gotta like just shine and be crazy. But for an everyday look, the shimmers in here look really beautiful. I think they're really, really lovely. And again, that's what I have on the inside of my lids there. That is it for this video today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you in my next video.